Good evening and welcome to the Manteno Village Board meeting for Monday, December 7th, 2020. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and if we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could all just keep standing for a minute. Today happens to be the anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor, back in 1941, and the fact that we have a board meeting on that date, I just thought it would be nice if we could just all have a moment of silence for a minute. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Boyce.
Here.
Martin.
Here.
Dole.
Here.
Crockett. Geske.
Here.
Phillips.
Here. We have a quorum. Tonight, as always, we begin with the approval of our minutes. Included in your packet, we have the board meeting minutes from November 16th, 2020. Hopefully, everyone has had the opportunity to review the minutes. Are there any changes, additions, deletions, corrections? Seeing none, I would accept the motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve them as presented by the clerk.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dole.
Second.
Second by Boyce. Roll call.
Dole.
Yes.
Boyce.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Geske.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Motion carries. Public participation. Tonight we have a individual that has signed up to address the board, Jojo Sason from Bourbonnais. Jojo, if you want to come up to the microphone, the microphone is yours.
Okay. Am I loud and clear?
Yep.
All right. Good evening, Mayor Nugent, and to the members of the Manteno Village Board. My name is Jojo Sison. I live in 840 Revere Street, Bourbonnais, Illinois, 60914. I am a United States citizen as well as a dual citizen with the Republic of the Philippines. I'm also the president and founder of Project Michelangelo Foundation, and we do empowerment and rescue relief missions all over the world, primarily in the Philippines. I am also a lieutenant commander for the Philippine Coast Guard Auxiliary 107 Squadron for rescue operations. Since I'm living here in the United States, I'm more of a public relations officer. And most importantly, I am a patriot and a best friend of your former veteran, Mr. Raymond Joseph Ollie of Manteno. I am his best friend. I'd like to tell you about Mr. Raymond Ollie because most of our veterans seems to be collectively just remembered as heroes, allegorically speaking. But I'm talking about Mr. Raymond Ollie as a true hero. And why would I call him a true hero? Because I have documents that he is a true hero. And I come here tonight to give out an invitation for Mayor and the Village Board to help us celebrate a turnover of awards. You see, I met Mr. Raymond Ollie back in 2008, and Mr. Raymond Ollie is a World War II veteran. He was a quartermaster second class in the LSM ship 311, who helped liberate the Philippines in 1944 in the Battle of Leyte Gulf. So we have become best friends. We came together many, many times until he was in the nursing home. I came to visit him even by the window when there was a COVID epidemic restrictions. So Mr. Raymond Ollie and I had prayed together, sang together, and I've learned a lot more about this man. He did not just have the opportunity to serve the United States, to serve a whole country, but also he served the veterans of Manteno after the war. And most importantly, he also returned to the Philippines after the war to help out the poor people of the island, which he helped liberate together with General Douglas MacArthur. And it's so fitting because his ship LSM-11 was right alongside General MacArthur's landing craft. And when Mr. Raymond Ollie told me about the story, he said that when General Douglas MacArthur came by, he could have just dropped a dime on his hat. That's how close he was because he was on the ship. So this is just a quick summary of my relationship with Mr. Raymond Ollie. He helped me with my foundation, Project Michelangelo Foundation as well, and all of our activities. Mr. Raymond Ollie was born in 1923, and he was born April 2, 1923. We had a 40-year difference. I became his best friend. I was born in 1963 in the Philippines. Now, Mr. Raymond Ollie fittingly died on July 4th, 2020. He was a real patriot. We talked nothing about how the United States should be, ought to be, and it should be a rule of law. And the hardest thing for me as his best friend was I was by his deathbed, the 2 nights, his last 2 nighs. And I was there with him. We sang together, so I sang with him. And I placed my hand on his chest, and I waited until he faded away. So the hardest thing I ever done with this Manteno hero of yours is when he faded away is to stand and salute him while I was sobbing, and that was the hardest part. But this man is a hero because not only did he help out the Philippines, but also after the war and also the veterans here. He sang for the veterans home many, many times. So I went with my connections in the Philippines and found very important people in the Philippine House of Representatives, in which I pleaded my case that he should be honored for the return missions that he did after the war. So last September 22, 2020, there was a meeting in the House of Representatives in the Philippines, and I was live on Zoom, and I was a resource person together with Mr. Raymond Ollie's eldest daughter. And there was a resolution that was approved that day. And I brought with me the resolution, and this will give credence to this celebration that I'm inviting you on January 16, 2021, at the Legion, American Legion Hall at 11 a.m. It is a Saturday. So I will read to you the House Resolution number 1157 from the Republic of the Philippines, House of Representatives in Quezon City, Metro Manila, 18th Congress, 2nd Regular Session, and introduced by Representative Rita Robes. A resolution commending Quartermaster Second Class Raymond Joseph Ollie for his heroic acts for the Philippines during World War II. Whereas Raymond Ollie was born on April 2, 1923 at Hillsdale, New Jersey, United States of America. Whereas he joined the United States Navy in 1942 and served in the Pacific Theater in the course of World War II. Whereas during World War II, he, together with other American veterans, was on board the landing ship Medium 311 that traveled across Leyte, Mindoro, Bataan, Corregidor, Pangasinan, and Mindanao, which was also one of famous landing ships that came alongside the ship that landed General Douglas MacArthur at the White Beach in Leyte. Whereas during the Battle of Leyte, he bravely fought for the liberation of the Filipinos from the Japanese. Whereas when he was stationed in the Philippines, he often spoke about how he loved Filipinos so dearly, whereas his heroic acts were praiseworthy evident in the numerous awards he has received, such as the Combat Action Ribbon, American Campaign Medal, Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal, W4 stars, Philippine Liberation Ribbon, W2 stars, and World War II Victory Medal. Whereas Raymond Ollie Raymond Joseph Ollie, long after the war and having established himself in Illinois, USA, has not forgotten the people of Leyte, and he has given donations to parishioners of San Ramon, also in Leyte. Whereas Raymond Ollie recently peacefully passed away on July 4, 2020, and the Philippine House of Representatives extends its sincerest condolences to the family of the deceased hero. Resolved, as it is hereby resolved, to commend Quartermaster Second Class Raymond Ollie for his heroism and bravery for the Philippines during World War II. Resolved further that the bereaved family of Quartermaster Second Class Raymond Joseph Ollie be given a copy of this resolution. It has been approved, House Resolution 1157, and I have received in my possession from the Embassy of the Philippines in Washington, D.C., a certificate of award signed by Lieutenant General Carolina and World War II Victory Medal, a certificate of award signed by Lieutenant General Carolina and Philippine Liberation Medal, that's a second medal, certificate of recognition signed by Secretary Delphine Lorenzana, Department of National Defense, a copy of Public Law 114-265, an act to award a Congressional Gold Medal collectively to the Filipino veterans of World War II in recognition of the dedicated service of the veterans during World War II, signed by President Obama in December 14, 2016, a Congressional Gold Medal with presentation case, a copy of the souvenir program during the October 2017 CGM Awards ceremony. So I have documentation that Mr. Raymond Ollie has been conferred heroic status in the Philippines. I have 3 medals, and the most important one is a Philippine Congressional Gold Medal. And I am wanting to award this posthumously by turning this over to the eldest daughter, Miss Catherine or Kathy Ollie Stevens. And we have tentatively scheduled this on January 16, Saturday at 11 a.m. I would like to emphasize that this is a very important event for a citizen and a resident of Manteno, a real hero, a real combat hero. And Mr. Raymond Ollie also suffered what you call shell shock, which is now called PTSD. He told me the stories of how he got it when his friends were decimated by Japanese machine gun fire from Japanese Zeros, and he was not even hit. And I have many stories to tell more about Mr. Ray Ollie. So today is December 7th, 2020, and as it was the day that would live in infamy, as proclaimed by our President Franklin Roosevelt. Today is December 7, 2020, and I'd like to proclaim it a victory for Mr. Raymond Ollie, and I'm so very proud of this man. I call my best friend, and Manteno deserves this man, and he deserves to be remembered forever in this town of Manteno. Now he placed in the map. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. I have also copies of what I said. I'd
Great.
like to give it to you.
Sure, if you want. Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
Thank
for coming and for the invitation. I knew Mr. Ollie, met him several years ago. I believe him and his wife had celebrated an anniversary a few years ago too that we did a proclamation for. And I know that he's been heavily involved. It followed a lot of articles in the newspaper where they had him out in a canoe out at the lake and working with Eric Peterson and some of the other veteran groups. So we'll be there on January 16th. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you
so
very
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No one else do we have?
No.
Village President's Report, I'll be short tonight. The only thing I have is just to congratulate Sarah on a great job. Last Saturday night, as you know, we had the revised version of the Santa coming to town, basically a sleighing down Main Street. Didn't have any idea as to what the turnout would be, but it was overwhelming when we rode the sleigh down Main Street and let the 3 contest winners turn the lights on for all the trees and the buildings and the square and Second and the Christmas tree. Just let everyone know that Public Works has been working on this project since September, putting the lights up, and I think when people drive around town now and see what they've done an exceptional job. The town looks great, and the other night was a great remembrance for the work that they've been doing over the last couple months. But anyone that's looking to look at Christmas lights, take a drive down Main Street and take a drive through the square, I think you'll be happy that Manteno, looks great for the holidays. Also, as you know, normally we would put the season greeting signs up on the elevator, the crossing at the top of the elevator. This year we couldn't do that. That is on the entrance to the community out on County Highway 9, right when you come across the I-57 overpass. So hopefully people will see that also. I have nothing further. Village Administrator's report, Mr. LaRock.
I have nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
We'll go to committee reports. Public Works and Utilities, Mr. Boyce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have nothing on the agenda, but I do have a meeting on the 22nd at 7 a.m. right here. Thank you.
Properties and Recreation, Mr. Martin.
I just have one thing, Resolution 20-07. This is a resolution approving a professional services agreement with Robinson Engineering in connection with providing surveying and engineering services for the proposed South Pass project consisting of 3 additional separate segments. That's to basically continue the path that's going through town.
Right, that's a path that we've talked about. This is going to extend the path that connects Heritage Park to Jacobs Park, and then also extend it all, around a portion of the south end of the village. Try to every year try to continue our path project. They've gotten a lot of good reception and a lot of people, are using them. So we want to keep adding to them every year. So this is doing the engineering over the course of the winter time, so we can do the construction when the weather gets good.
That's it.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Public Safety and Health, Mrs. Dole.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any action items on the agenda tonight. My public safety meeting is Wednesday, the 9th, at 7 a.m. here at the Village Boardroom. Had a couple safety tips. I want to remind the Village of Manteno has 3 railroad crossings for vehicles and 1 for pedestrians near Main Street. There are also several other crossings within a few miles of the village. Each vehicle crossing has a blue emergency sign posted near the road. This is called an Emergency Notification System sign. The purpose of the ENS sign is to provide the public with critical emergency contact information at every highway rail grade crossing. The information contained on the ENS sign enables the public to reach the railroad responsible for the crossing and identify the specific crossing in the event of an emergency. In the event of a railroad emergency, you can call the number on the sign and communicate your location by giving crossing number also located on the sign. This will notify the proper authorities and initiate a response. In the event of an accident or where an emergency response is needed, we encourage you to call 911 first. I want to remind everybody to keep the wreaths red. This is to raise awareness of the increase of fires during the holiday season. Because of the use of flammable decorations, candles, and cooking of holiday foods, there is an increasing number of house fires within the U.S. For those that decide to keep and use fresh Christmas trees, please keep them watered as needed. During the holiday season, fire stations in County Manteno throughout the country now display wreaths decorated with red lights only, along with the signs asking residents to keep it red. Every time a fire occurs within the community due to the holidays, a red bulb is taken from the wreath and is replaced with a white bulb to remind residents to practice fire safety during not just the holidays, but at all times. The Manteno Fire District is striving to keep the wreath all red this season through the help of the citizens of Manteno. And this is always a good time to check your smoke alarms and CO alarms. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mrs. Dole. Planning and Zoning, Mr. Crockett is not here tonight. He does not have anything on the agenda. However, he does have a Planning and Zoning Committee meeting scheduled for December 22nd at 7 a.m. here in the Village Boardroom. Finance, Mr. Geske.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item I have is Ordinance 2020, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a business development agreement between the Village of Manteno and G. Cooper Oil, Inc., related to occupational taxes generated at 15 North Main Street, Unit A in Manteno, Illinois. We've discussed this at the last Finance Committee meeting, and it is a very similar agreement to what we have with other businesses here in town. I don't know that there's any need to discuss
Yeah,
it further.
it's the exact same agreement that we have with with a number of other ones, so it's pretty set in stone.
Next item I have is Ordinance 2021, an ordinance for the levy and assessment of taxes on real property for all purposes of defraying expenses for all corporate purposes for the Village of Manteno, Kankakee County, Illinois, for the fiscal year commencing on May 1, 2020, and ending on April 30th, 2021. Earlier this evening, we had a truth and taxation hearing where Chris was nice enough to go through all the exciting information as to how this number comes about. So I know we had a lot of questions about it and talked through it, and I think everything is resolved at this point in time. It's pretty standard operating procedure for this time of the year.
And if anyone's interested, this, information is available on our website too.
Next, I have ordinance 2022, an ordinance abating the tax hereto levied for year 2020 to pay the principal of interest on $2,050,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2013 of the Village of Manteno, Kankakee County, Illinois. And the last thing I have is payment of bills in the amount of $298,198.35, which includes TIF bills from TIF District 1 of $113,674.21. Bills that were authorized and paid between board cycle is $44,960.36, and our Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday the 9th at 7 a.m. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Geske. General Government, Mr. Phillips, do you have anything tonight?
I have nothing on the agenda tonight, Mayor.
So the items that we'll be voting on the consent agenda then are as follows. Under old business, we have nothing. Under new business, we have ordinance 2020, which is an ordinance authorizing the execution of a business development agreement between the Village of Manteno and G. Cooper Oil Company, Inc., related to occupational taxes generated at 15 North Main, Unit A, Manteno, Illinois. Item number 2 is ordinance 2021, an ordinance for the levy and assessment of taxes on real property for all purposes of defraying expenses for corporate purposes for the Village of Manteno, Kankakee County, Illinois, for the fiscal year commencing on May 1, 2020, and ending on April 30th, 2021. Item number 3 is ordinance 2022, an ordinance abating the taxes hereto levied for the year 2020 to pay the principal of and interest on $2,050,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2013 of the Village of Manteno, Kankakee County, Illinois. Item number 4, Resolution 2007, is a resolution approving a professional services agreement with Robinson Engineering in connection with providing surveying and engineering services for the proposed South Path, consisting of 3 separate segments. Awarding of the bids and contracts, we have none. Financial reports, we have a motion to approve payment of bills in the amount of $298,198.35, of which $113,674.21 are TIF 1. Are there any items on the consent agenda that need to be voted on individually? Seeing none, I'd accept the motion to take a single roll call vote on the question of passage of the agenda items as read. Motion by Geske.
Second.
Second by Dole. Roll call.
Geske,
Yes.
Dole,
Yes.
Boyce,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Motion carries. Accept the motion to approve by unanimous vote the ordinances, resolutions, motions, and orders contained in the consent agenda as read.
I make the motion.
Motion by Phillips, second by Martin. Roll call.
Phillips,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Boyce,
Yes.
Dole,
Yes.
Geske.
Yes.
Motion carries. Comments tonight, you have anything you want to talk about, Mr. Boyce?
Just great job by Jimmy and his crew, and great job by Sarah. So it's awesome just driving around seeing all the lights. So thank you guys. That's it.
Mr. Martin?
Nothing, agreed. The town looks beautiful. That's all I've got.
It does, they do look nice. Mrs. Dole?
No question, it does look very nice. It was fun to be uptown and see all the lights turn on or whatever. It was a good crowd. But I was very moved for the tribute to Mr. Ali. I knew him too. I knew him through the senior safety meeting and listened to him sing often or whatever, no matter if it was here or if it was down at Bourbonnais. I heard him sing there too. And I didn't know he passed. I didn't know that. So.
Yeah, he's a pretty active guy.
Yeah, he was.
When
He was
when he
very
was able.
active. And his granddaughter would bring him a lot of places. She would be taking him a lot of places. So, nice tribute.
Thank you, Mrs. Dole. Mr. Geske?
Echo what everyone else said, and that's all.
Mr. Phillips?
I knew Ray Alley too for 18 years, and he'd sing at moments.
He would.
And he had half of us working at the VA volunteering over there one time or another. He was quite a fellow.
He was.
So, he is missed. That's all I have.
Thank you. Robin has a notice that she needs to read.
So notice is hereby given that the office of village clerk, local election official in and for the village of Manteno at 98 East 3rd Street, Manteno, Illinois, will be open on the following schedule for the purpose of accepting candidate petitions for the consolidated election to be held on April 6, 2021, for the following offices of village president, a 4-year term, village clerk, a 4-year term, and 3 positions for village trustee, 4-year term. This will be December 14th through December 18th, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and December 21st, 8 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Due to COVID-19 public health restrictions, the village hall is closed to the public. So all petitions will be handled through the drive-up window located on the west side of the village hall building. Thank you.
Thanks, Robin. If nothing, no one else has anything further, I'd accept the motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dole,
I'll second.
second by Boyce, roll call.
By Boyce.
Boyce.
Dole,
Yes.
Boyce,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Geske,
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much for coming and for watching.